Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this afternoon's Chartered Professional Accountants Ontario Information webinar. My name is Ann Dwyer. I'm a program manager with McMaster Continuing Education. I'm pleased today to co-host the webinar and to welcome Sean Mullen, student recruiter with Chartered Professional Accountants Ontario. And before I hand things off to Sean, I do want to emphasize that the Chartered Professional Accountants Ontario is a great affiliation that McMaster Continuing Education has. And the number, I would say the majority of you attending today, the majority of those taking our courses in programming through continuing education are doing so in pursuit of a professional designation and primarily the CPA designation. I encourage you as registrants of McMaster Continuing Education, as those who are interested in pursuing a career in accounting, to reach out to the CPA or to reach out to CPA Ontario and stay connected with them. They offer so many valuable resources to those who are pursuing a career in accounting and pursuing their CPA designation. If you're interested in receiving emails about upcoming CPA events, upcoming networking opportunities, and upcoming employer events, I do encourage you to reach out. So without further ado, let's get started with the focus of this afternoon session. Sean.
All right, thank you so much, Ann. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today. As Ann said, we've got a lot of ways we want to help you on this journey. We're going to talk about the great merits of the designation. We're going to talk about the career paths, the process, where you can get support, and what practical experience looks like. But again, the job is always going to be up to you. So it's really important for you to take advantage of as many employer networking events to kind of narrow down where you want to take this profession. What type of career you want to have, because you're about to see this CPA designation to open up all these doors for you. But which of the doors do you want to go through? Where are the relationships you need to help get yourself across that threshold? There are ways you can do that, as well as good technical advice on next steps, transcript assessment, practical experience, all of that. So please do keep in touch with us. We want to help you along your way. So my name is Sean Mullen. I'm one of the student recruiters with CPA Ontario, and we're going to get through a lot of information today. Who are CPAs? What are CPAs? Where are CPAs? And what do they do? There's a lot of misconceptions of what the designation is all about. So I want to here to tell you is that what CPAs do, they are the trusted financial experts in every single organization, whether it's a firm, whether it's a bank, whether it's a manufacturer, every company, everywhere, even McMaster Continuing Education, every organization. The entire success of that organization depends on people that understand the language of business. What's the language of business? Money, numbers, data. CPAs are able to see the numbers and tell the story behind the numbers and understand the implications of the number. The so what does this mean for our clients? What does this mean for our team? What does this mean for our launch, our merger, acquisition, for our leadership? When you can see things that other people can't through the numbers, you have a superpower. You're able to make better decisions. You're able to solve more complex problems. You're able to be a better advisor. And that's why CPAs are in leadership positions. That's why they're in decision-making positions, because they have that extra ability to look at the same numbers that everyone else does and see the story behind them, what they mean, what the implications are. So what you're going to hear about today is this incredible skill set. It's not just about the technical stuff. Yeah, you're going to learn that. You're doing that in your class. But what really distinguishes a CPA as a professional is their people skills, is their ability to lead, is their ability to work with clients, their ability to communicate and collaborate and problem solve, think strategically, get buy-in and all of that wonderful stuff. So as we are actually the third largest accounting body in the world. So we have over 220,000 members. And what this means is you get a chance to really travel the world, and people see those letters, those CPA letters behind your name, and they understand that you bring that unique skill set, that you are a strategic problem solver, that you're a decision maker, that you're a leader, that you understand the story behind those numbers. And, I talk to CPAs all the time, particularly the ones that are really new to the designation or maybe even studying in PEP. And they always report to me, Sean, I can't believe how seriously I was taken so early in my career. I was leading these multi-million-dollar projects. My CEO is bringing me into her office to ask, what my advice is, because you don't have to wait in 20 years to be taken seriously. You have this great skill set that recognizes that the language numbers, what they mean, and how to advise and what to do with it. I always say to professionals, there's 3 inevitabilities in your life. No matter how far you run, no matter how well you hide, there are 3 things that you will never ever escape: death, taxes, and networking. You're going to have to build relationships, whether you like it or not. Your network is your net worth. And one of the neat things about being part of a designation, being part of a membership, and you'll be a member of CPA Ontario's body, is that you have that network built in. You're going to see that we have mentorship all the way throughout the training process. You're going to have associations that you're going to be a part of. You're going to have volunteers and professional development. The profession is really driving demand for CPAs in the marketplace, demand for CPAs and how we protect the public out there in the business world, that you get to take advantage of all of that. That's one of the really great things about this designation. And look at this great stat here. Of the top 50 companies in Canada, over 500 CPAs are in senior leadership positions, executive positions. Well, okay, you're all pretty smart business people. How do you get to be a top 50 company in Canada? Okay, well, you got to be really profitable. You got to outcompete your competitors for market share. You got to keep your employees and retention happy. You got to operate in an efficient, cost-effective way. You've got to, attract investors. You got to please your customers. How do you do all that stuff? Well, you have to have leaders in the business that speak the language of business, that know what the numbers and data mean and what are the next steps and what to do with them and how to make better decisions and solve problems. That is the true power of this amazing designation. Now, if you're like me and you're interested in travel, and I've just booked some recent flights that I'm taking a March break trip out of here. COVID be damned, I'm going to go travel the world. You can travel to pretty much any country you want, but you can't live there, you can't work there. You need a special visa to do it. Now, CPAs can get that visa. We have 13,000 CPAs right now in over 130 countries. This really is your great ticket to go and travel the world and see some great things. I had the great privilege of going overseas back in 2006, and I'll try it out for 1 year. I came back 7 years later. It was awesome. So if you ever get a chance to travel, this is really something that can take you there. If you're staying more domestically, these are some of the salaries based on years after designation. You're going to find these numbers that have actually increased. Of course, this is from our 2019, our 2022 data is coming in about a month. So I'm sorry, this is a bit out of date. But look, there's a return on your investment. You're investing time, you're investing money. You want to know that you're going to get a return. And I understand that money is a really important driver of this outcome. But what I really think matters when you're considering putting all of this time and effort into this rigorous designation process is that when you have a globally recognized skill set, when you have an instantly recognized skill set that everyone you meet knows that you know how to solve complex problems, that you know how to be a strategic thinker, that you know how to give great financial advice, that you are someone who can lead people, that you're someone that speaks the language of business, that puts you in demand in every single type of company, in every single industry, everywhere. No other designation literally opens every single door for you. You drive down the road today, you see a business, they have over 50 employees, they got a CPA. If they have less than 50 employees, they hire one part-time. What's the point here? The point is, I have the great privilege of meeting hundreds and hundreds of CPAs every year. And what I find overwhelmingly thematic is they love the work that they do. And they love it because they get to choose. When you have this in-demand skill set, you can really work anywhere in any company. So we're going to walk through the practical experience requirements, Darren, in just a moment. So just wanted to really we're just talking at the beginning here about, why the designation is worth investing your time in. And again, you want to work downtown, big 60-floor office towers downtown Toronto. Great, you can do that. Do you want to go work more locally? Do you want to work in mining, sports, entertainment, retail, fashion, whatever? Every organization everywhere is a potential place that you could work. Now, the challenge then is, well, all these doors are open, but which of the doors that I want to go through? Well, this is where you're going to want to meet people. This is why you want to go and network. And you as a student right now, you're in the best possible position because you have that curiosity. I would encourage you everywhere you go on your resume, on your LinkedIn, say, I'm Sean Mullen, aspiring CPA. So employers know that you're on this journey, and then you can go and network with people that you know who are alumni, people you've connected with in your community on LinkedIn to say, hey, I'm Sean Mullen, aspiring CPA. I'm on this journey. I'm at McMaster CCE taking these courses, and I'm just so curious to what careers I can do. Tell me about you. Tell me about the work that you do. What do you like about it? Were you always in this industry? What kind of skills do you use on a day-to-day basis? What are you reading? What advice would you have for me in this situation? If you could do it all over again, what would you do differently? These are the conversations you can ask. And believe me, people love giving advice. I'll give you one free piece of advice here, which is this great quote that I live by. If you go around asking for a job, you're going to get advice instead. But if you go around asking for advice, sometimes you might get a job. And the reason is, it's a really easy way for you to be risk-free, stress-free, to make a person you're talking to really feel good in a conversation, to say, hey, you matter, your experience matters. Tell me about your journey. I want to know all about it and be inspired. That's the real secret to networking. Don't think of it as a transaction for a job. Don't just talk to them because they work at the company. Really be curious into that person and their journey, and they're going to give you some really good insights to help navigate. So like I said, any company everywhere is your potential that you may want to work as a CPA designation. Now, a lot of you who maybe have some familiarity with CPAs, you're probably thinking, where are they all? Where are the most CPAs? And probably you're thinking that they work for a firm, or we call public practice, like some of the big four, Canadian 7. But when we look at all the CPAs in Canada, only 16% are working at a firm. So that means 84% are doing something completely different than working in a public practice accounting firm. So this really begs the question, these other 84%, is this potentially a career path for me? Well, this is why you need to go and have those conversations. Ashley, I'll answer that question in a moment. So 1 in 10 actually work for financial services. So this is kind of false tension between finance over here and accounting over here. I just don't know which way to go. Almost all forms of finance are a form of accounting, and 10% of our members work in asset management and investment banking. Is this a potential career path for you? Well, let's come and meet some CPAs. You know, I always talk to students who say, you know, Sean, yes, I love numbers, I love decision making, I love leadership, I love problem solving, but I want to come home at the end of the day knowing that I did something that really made a difference. I don't want to just make other shareholders have better dividends on their returns. I want to know that I'm helping our government, our education systems, our social and corporate responsibility, our social justice issues, environmental sustainability. More CPAs work in public practice than anywhere else. 1 in 15 own their own business. Every company everywhere has a potential that you can work at. Let's listen to Lisa here explain why she loves the designation.
What I do now is focusing on daily reporting and looking what we can say, how we're doing every single day, so we can actually make real-time decisions. Because waiting a month in tech is a year in some companies, so we can't wait that long. For me, a day at Flip is very different from what I ever thought an accountant would do. I spend a lot of time, obviously, on the financial side of the business, but then on lots of different things. Make sure we have events and, you know, things like HR. We never had an HR department, and that's something I've had to build from scratch using the skills I have as a CPA. I've had my CPA designation for 4 years now, and it's incredible to think of all that I've done in 4 years. I was able to be taken seriously at a really young age, and I attribute that a lot to being a CPA. I think it gives you, one, a really strong foundation in business that I think you can carry to any industry, and is something that will really help you adapt as you try new things. It's really that jumpstart to your career, because you don't need to have 20 years working at something before people take you seriously. You just need to have this great skill set that the CPA has given you to be able to handle any situation that's thrown at you.
You know, and that's really all of what it's about. You're going to get a lot of technical information, and you're going to specialize in some of the practical experience requirements, but really it's a foundational skill set that it's going to allow you to go anywhere in your career. You're going to have that CPA mindset on how to strategize, analyze, advise. That is something you're going to take anywhere you go. Let's talk about the process. It's pretty simple. We need you to have a degree, any subject, anywhere in the world, we accept that degree. If you don't have a degree, and you have an equivalent, there's only one exception to that rule, and that's you have 8 years of experience in a business setting doing accounting or finance type work. So if you're, you know, in this program, hopefully, or you're considering this program, you have a degree already. Otherwise, you have 8 years of business experience, and that's what we call the mature student exemption. I would email myself after the call, or you can look it up, Google CPA Ontario mature student exemption to see what the criteria are. So we need your degree, and then we need your 15 prerequisite courses, which we'll talk about in a moment, which you're going to be doing here at the CCE. And after that, we'll go into the professional education program and what that looks like. So let's break down those courses. So these are the course subjects by CPA title. They'll have different titles at continuing education here, but they're going to fall into these two categories. On the left are our non-core courses. So this would be, I believe, your kind of your intro diploma to accounting, and then the core course will be part of the advanced diploma. It'll have a different name, so I'm sorry, Anne, for getting that name wrong. But the non-core courses, you just need a 50% to pass. Now, information technology has actually moved over to a core course, and that's because really we see the emergence of what we call data analytics and information system, or DAIS. So DAIS number 9 has an asterisk because it's already integrated in some of your other courses, so it won't be a standalone course. But I want to mention it briefly because there's really never been a more exciting time to be a CPA. You know, in the old old days, they spent a lot of their time looking at the numbers, all the invoices, all the bank drafts, financial reports, revenue statements, and putting all the numbers together to make sure they match. And then they have a little bit of time left to do some of the analysis and actual decision making. Well, now, with automation and AI, it's already done. It's all computerized. I mean, AI can give us huge amounts of data we've never even seen before. That's what AI can do. But AI can't make decisions about it. AI can't interpret it or make judgments or advise what we should do as a company or your client. Well, who speaks this language? Who speaks these numbers? Who knows what they mean and can see the story behind them and tell us what should we do, or our clients, what should we do? Obviously CPA. So you're spending so much more time on the actual decision-making and analysis part, which I think is much more interesting. So your core courses on the right, you need a minimum of 60 in each course, an overall average of 65 to move on to the next step. So if you have a 3-year degree, equivalent of 90 credit hours, the courses you would take at continuing education would be worth 3 credits each. So even if you only have a 3-year degree, but you've been given that degree, the good news is you'll make up those missing 30 credits here and taking the prerequisites that you need. Once you've got your degree or your mature student exemption, and you've got those 15 prerequisites covered, you are ready for our professional education program, otherwise known as CPA PEP. This is what is going to turn you from an ordinary citizen into a chartered professional accountant superhero. Doctors go to medical school, lawyers go to law school, CPAs go to PEP. But the difference here is that you're working full-time. We want you working full-time from day one, earning 30 months of practical experience. We want you learning on the job, and you're going to take these 6 modules part-time self-study. The idea being, at nighttime, you're doing a self-study, you're learning about asset ratios, and then you go into work and actually do that for the company you work for or the clients that you're supporting. We know that through practical experience, that theoretical learning becomes really integrated, and that's really why we prioritize that, and the profession has built it in such a way. Let's take a deep dive into what these look like. Each module, the part-time modules, I'll talk about practical experience in a moment. Each module is about a season long, but 2 months of study, a week of review, and then the exam, and then you have 3 weeks off. The first 2 modules, Core 1, Core 2, are just a high-level understanding of our 6 technical areas. Every CPA has got to have a foundational understanding of everything. And then in your electives, you're going to choose 2. What do you want to be really good at? Now, you don't have to decide this now. This is going to align with the work that you're doing. So if you're working at a firm, probably you're going to do assurance and tax. If you're working out in industry, you're a finance analyst, you're probably going to do performance management finance. Again, you're going to be doing this work as part of your job, might as well make sense to take a deep dive into it. Now, we talked about how what differentiates a CPA in the workplace is not just someone that knows numbers, but someone that can work as a team and lead and work with clients and build strategies and get buy-in and build consensus and lead those strategies forward. Well, that's the leadership skills, those human skills. And that's what we want to see on display in our Capstone 1. You're going to get 4 other business students that you don't know. And I know a lot of you are working and are well into your careers, and you don't get to choose your coworkers. This is part of the skill set that makes you a professional. So in Capstone 1, you're going to get a business case and 5 people to put a decision of that case together. And we want to be able to see, okay, what was your decision? Why did you come up with that decision? And we want to see those skills on display. Now let's jump ahead to the common final exam. Common final exam is, yes, probably the biggest exam of your life, but it's not designed to be this, trick you, aha, got you kind of moment. Really, it's going to be a culmination of all your learning. If you've done well in the modules, you pass them, you have all the knowledge you need. But one of the skills that we're assessing you on is your self-management, your time management, your ability to look at a lot of information and pull out that key information, put some analysis together, and quantify your decision-making. So that's why in Capstone 2, we're just going to give you a bunch of small cases every week for you to get in the game, help your mindset, really practice that skill set so that you can be successful when the exam comes. Now, let's move on to today's chapter. There we go. So in PEP, this is the training you're going to get. You're going to get in the work experience through the modules, that technical understanding. But what's critical as well is the enabling competencies. I talked to a partner at a firm, and she said to me, there's 2 things I'm considering when I'm hiring somebody. Could I put you in front of a client? So can you communicate? Are you professional? And could I sit next to you on an airplane for 8 hours? What they're saying is, and if any of you have ever talked to a recruiter, you've heard this over and over again, that the technical stuff, they can teach you that. Anyone can learn international financial reporting standards. Anyone can take, data analytics, Power BI course over the weekend. But what is so hard to teach you and so hard to train you on is critical thinking, problem solving, communication, you know, collaboration, working as a team. So people who really show evidence of that really do well in the recruitment process, but it's important to know that this is well built into the CPA prep program, because when people see those letters behind your name, they know you bring two things. They know you bring a technical understanding of accounting and finance, but you bring those leadership skills that allow you to communicate and translate, because you're speaking a language of business and trying to translate to people. You're trying to stand up in front of your board and say, hey, everyone, I can translate this for you. These numbers, there's something you're not seeing here. This is what's going on. We need to make these decisions. We need to go forward. And that's what's really cool about this designation. All right, let's quickly talk about practical experience. So in your practical experience, you will be developing both of these competency areas. You're going to go through what's called core, depth, breadth, and progression, essentially meaning that you'll have areas that you'll really focus in on. You have some areas that you have to do some rotational experience on. But as you go through that 30 months, you're going to gain increasing autonomy and increasing responsibility. You're also going to have a mentor. This is a mentor that will either be assigned to you depending on the company you worked, or it could be a mentor that you choose. Now, I told you the profession loves to give back. So we have literally a list of 8,500 mentors that are happy to work with you, and you'll get a chance to access those and connect with them. One thing that's really, really important and applicable to, I think, most of you here is that of the 30 months practical experience journey, if you are working in an accounting or finance role, we can grant you up to 12 months of that work experience. So this is important because many of you are considering this journey, and it's going to be another 12 months, 18 months from here until you can even have the courses to start PEP. So this gives you a chance to transition into an accounting role or a finance role in your organization. And it gives you a head start. You think, okay, I'm doing these practical, I really want to start PEP. I really want to start PEP next year. Great, you can actually get a head start right now on your practical experience up to 12 months. The day that you start PEP, that 12 months has to be within a 5.5-year window looking back. Okay, so again, we're looking at 12 months of prior experience, and that prior experience has to be within 5.5 years of starting PEP, and it does have to meet certain criteria. So it's not every role in business will do it. It has to be an accounting or finance type role. So if the experience is already done, you've had it, it is what it is. You can definitely do your best to try and report that when the time comes. But if you are going into that experience, if you have a job and you're unsure if it's going to count, this is the perfect thing to meet with me about. We also have a big practical experience information session that's happening on October 27th, and I'll share that with Anne, who can share that with you as well. A great way to come and check out those questions. So if you have a job right now, if you're working in marketing, if you're working in HR, if you're working in admin in a company, you already have your foot in the door. I would encourage you to go and like I said, go around asking for advice. If you're in admin and you are working for Pepsi, go and talk to the CPAs that work for Pepsi. Take them out for lunch and say, hey, I'd love to ask you some questions. I'm considering this designation. I'm joining the CCCE program to get my prerequisites. Tell me about you. Tell me about your story. And I guarantee you, if you start planting that seed to say, I'm on this journey, they might say, well, look, you already know Pepsi. You're going to be doing this for 1.5 years. Let's keep the conversation going. Maybe you can do some of that work through us and transition to your team. Okay, so it's not so much, the job title, it just has to meet certain criteria, what we call level 1. And again, I can explain that to you, Esmeralda, if we do a one-on-one call. If you're running your own business, it's really, really, really hard to get the experience to count. We need someone who's been supervising you. We need to, when you do your self-reporting, we need to contact a manager to say, have you done these and hit this skill set? So I know some people do their own bookkeeping. Some people do have their own business. Some people do tax returns for their friends and family. That experience is very likely not going to count. It's got to be full-time paid experience and likely at a large enough company where you can do that. All right, so there are 2 possible routes for you to get your work experience. There's one called the experience verification route. An experience verification simply means you can work for any company anywhere. You can work for an ice cream store as long as you're doing the accounting or finance at that ice cream store with progressive work experience. So what this essentially means is if you want to go and work for a company that runs software for those wind turbines, or you're working for a shoe manufacturer or wherever, as long as you're in the accounting and finance role, you're going to be reporting to CPA Ontario about once every month. Now, there is something called the pre-approved program. And what it just essentially means is a company might hire 5 or more students a year. So let's say Sean Mullen Manufacturing Inc., an amazing dynamic CEO, he hires 5 students every year. It doesn't make sense for them to do their own thing, reporting at different times. It just gets messy. So what we would do is create a program for them where they could get all the experience they need from beginning to end. So there is no such thing, Terry, of a list of companies where you can get your CPA. It is any company anywhere. The pre-approved program, the vast majority of them are roles that are marketed and recruited for within campus recruitment. So people who are doing their undergrad. So most people that go in your situation, the continuing education route, they would go with the EVR pathway. So I would not, should you be choosing your company based on 1 hour of reporting a month? Obviously not. You need to go be asking questions about what's it like to be working here? What does the day-to-day look like? What kind of clients might I be working with? Tell me about the company's financials. Let's look at the financial history. What's the team look like? Is it innovative? Is it collaborative? Is there work-life balance here? Is there progression? What's the office space look like? Is there good coffee here? I mean, these are the questions you want to ask, not are you a PPR company or EVR company? The point is you can do whatever you like. Okay. So in terms of the next steps, when you are, I'll say this here. So if you are in the advanced diploma, you've got your degree and you're taking your final courses, you're going to want to submit your transcripts at the very start of your final semester. So if you are finished this program in December, you want to submit your transcripts at the very start of your final semester. If you are several years away from that, great, you're all good to go. But if you have a degree already in accounting or finance, if you think, when I showed you those courses, if you think that you have taken those courses already from your undergrad somewhere else, then you may want to figure out which courses you actually need at continuing education, because you may not need to go through all 16 if you have economics from somewhere else. So I'm going to go back here really quickly, so I apologize. I'm going to, don't want to give you anybody whiplash as I go. There we go. So the courses that we have broken down to the non-core and core courses. So some of you mentioned you have a degree from 2000. If you have a degree in business, what I would encourage you to do is submit your transcripts to CPA Ontario to find out which of these courses we will give you an exemption from. So if you have a degree in accounting from India and you're here, chances are we're going to give you economics and statistics and introductory financial accounting, introductory management accounting. And depending on what your syllabus says, you should include a syllabus for the best chance here. You may have 1 or 2 other ones that are exempted. Nobody I've ever heard of comes to Canada. If you are newcomers to Canada, welcome. We'll get all of these courses exempted. But wouldn't it be great for you to say, hey, I just talked to CPA, got my assessment results back. I've got 6 of these exempted. Well, now you only need to take your a la carte courses that you need to from continuing education here to get the missing courses that you need. So if, by all means, take all the courses here if you want to, but if you think you have some advanced standing, then you might want to submit your transcripts, and I'll explain what that looks like in just a moment. Important information about transcript assessment. The courses on the left, they are, it doesn't matter when you took them, if they meet the criteria, we will accept them. The courses on the right, they are subject to 10 years currency of education, meaning that when you submit your transcripts for entrance to the professional education program, all of the core courses you've taken have to be within 10 years. So if you submit this now and we say, great, the course that you took in 2013 for corporate finance will give you an exemption, but it's going to take you till 2024 to get the courses you need for PEP, then that will fall outside of currency of education. So I will not be able to, and you will not be able to figure out exactly which courses are required, but you're going to have to submit a transcript to CPA Ontario to be able to do that. And so if your degree is from outside of Canada, you may want to take a screenshot of this slide, which will just take you a moment here. Don't want to go too fast. Perfect. If your degree is from outside of Canada, you will have to go through World Education Services Canada, or WES. If you give them a call and say, hey, I'm applying to CPA Ontario, they'll say, great, we talked to 100 people a day that are doing that. We know exactly what to do, so don't worry. But even if your degree is in the United States, we will need you to go through World Education Services. So that process takes a bit of time, but I encourage you to do that. For everyone else, submitting a transcript is fairly simple. You're going to go onto the website. You can start My Journey, and then you're going to upload a PDF and a proof of legal name. If you have a course that was taken outside of Ontario that you want to say, look, I'm pretty sure my economics course is a good one, give us the syllabus. We need to know what was in that course to make a decision whether or not you should be exempted or not. So again, this is a step that you should only take one of two times: at the beginning now to figure out which courses you're exempted from, and then taking the missing ones at continuing education, or when you're done in your final semester here and you're ready to graduate with all the courses you need, that's when you're going to want to submit transcript to CPA Ontario. Transcript assessment will take, depending on if it's through WES, it's going to take about 6 to 8 weeks. If your degree was domestically, it'll take about 4 to 6 weeks to find out what that is. All right, so essentially, I believe I have reached the end of the show, but we have a lot of stuff happening. I want you to, oh, sorry, there's my QR code. Keep in touch with us. I want to tell you about our practical experience webinar. You want to know, does my job qualify? I got 7 of those questions here. We have a webinar dedicated to this with our practical experience team experts here to talk to you about it. If you're wanting to know about submitting transcripts, we have a transcript webinar. If you're a recent Canadian, you want to know about some of our events where you can speak to CPAs who also came to Canada on this journey, come and network with them. Some of our great skills workshops. This is what you're going to want to do. So please take this step. We have nothing to sell you. I'm not going to spam you, but we want to invite you to get this information because we know that the academic part is pretty black and white. You got to do the courses, you got to have the marks, that's it. But the job is up to you. And there's so many great careers that are out there. We want to help give you some conversations to really narrow your search to say, yeah, I definitely want to go have a career in finance, or I know I definitely want to be in the public sector, or, you know, I want to be at a firm or not, or I don't know if I want to be at a firm. Let's go meet some people and ask those great questions. So I want to thank you, Anne and Alana, for having me. I'm keep in touch with CPA Ontario. Good luck on your journey. And I'm sure I'll talk to you a few times before now and then. Over to you, Anne.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. And I know you have to run to another meeting. I really appreciate you taking the time today, as I'm sure every attendee is very appreciative of your time as well. I do want to thank everyone who took time out of their day to log in and join Sean and to hear about, you know, what does it mean to be a CPA and your pathway to get there. In addition, you can join us on our website at continuing.mcmaster.ca in order to obtain specific information about our diploma in accounting. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.